They told her to stay quiet. They told her to stop talking. They told her if she ever opened her mouth, she would destroy the entire family forever. And now, Tamar Braxton is finally talking. What you're about to hear is being whispered across group chats, leaked through burner accounts, and debated in hushed tones by fans who can't believe what's coming out. Tamar isn't just exposing old wounds. She's allegedly pulling back the curtain on a dark, uncomfortable family dynamic that people say explains everything we've watched unfold for decades. According to Tamar, this isn't about petty sister fights or reality TV drama. This is about control, manipulation, and a pattern that was buried so deep, it was never supposed to see daylight. Names are being dragged into the spotlight. Loyalties are being questioned. And the role of the family matriarch. Fans say it's not what they were led to believe. Social media is already on fire. Clips are being dissected frame by frame. Old interviews are resurfacing with chilling new meaning. Fans are asking the same terrifying question: what if Tamar wasn't the problem, but the warning? Insiders claim there were moments Tamar tried to speak up before, moments she was shut down, painted as unstable, dramatic, or too much. But now, with nothing left to lose, she's allegedly revealing a story so disturbing that it could permanently rewrite the Braxton family legacy. And if even half of what's being claimed is true, this isn't just tea. This is a reckoning. The moment Tamar decided to stop protecting everyone else, everything cracked wide open. According to people close to the situation, this wasn't some impulsive rant or emotional outburst. This was years of silence boiling over. Tamar allegedly reached a point where carrying everyone's secrets became heavier than the backlash she knew was coming. And when she finally spoke, insiders say the room went cold. Sources claim Tamar started by revisiting moments fans thought were harmless arguments on reality TV. The awkward silences. The sudden walk-offs. The way certain conversations were shut down instantly. She allegedly said those weren't accidents, they were warning signs. Every time she tried to push back, she was reminded who really controlled the narrative. Family loyalty wasn't optional. It was enforced. According to Tamar, Evelyn wasn't just the family matriarch, she was the gatekeeper. Insiders allege Evelyn decided who spoke, who stayed quiet, and who paid the price for stepping out of line. Tamar claims she watched her sisters learn early that peace in the family came from obedience, not honesty. And Towanda, she says, was caught in the middle of that pressure more than anyone wants to admit. People close to the family allege that Michael Jr.'s presence complicated everything. Old tensions. Old loyalties. Old wounds that never healed. Tamar reportedly claims there were situations where boundaries were blurred, not because anyone wanted them to be, but because saying no wasn't really an option. Insiders stress this wasn't about romance or choice. It was about power dynamics that made certain people feel trapped. What's disturbing fans most is how Tamar allegedly connects this to her own behavior over the years. She claims she wasn't acting out for attention. She was reacting to years of watching things she didn't understand as a child, but couldn't ignore as an adult. Every explosive argument, every emotional breakdown, she says, came from the same place: frustration at being told to accept what never felt right. Social media detectives quickly went to work. Old episodes resurfaced overnight. Fans clipped scenes where Tamar questioned decisions and was immediately labeled difficult. Comment sections exploded with people saying they see it now, the way Evelyn would shut conversations down, the way certain topics were off limits, the way Towanda often looked visibly uncomfortable, but said nothing. According to alleged insider messages circulating online, Tamar claims there were private confrontations that never made it to camera. Raised voices behind closed doors. Accusations of betrayal. Emotional ultimatums disguised as family talks. Tamar allegedly says she was warned more than once that exposing anything would cost her access, support, and peace. And then there's the money. Sources claim financial dependence played a massive role in keeping everyone quiet. Tamar allegedly says control wasn't just emotional, it was economic. Help came with conditions. Support came with strings. If you relied on the family system, you didn't challenge it. Fans are now questioning whether independence was punished while dependence was rewarded. Towanda's silence has become one of the loudest parts of this story. Insiders say Tamar claims Towanda wasn't weak, she was cornered. Torn between loyalty to her mother, responsibility to her family, and fear of what would happen if she spoke up. Tamar allegedly insists that Towanda's choices can't be understood without acknowledging the pressure she was under. As these claims spread, reactions from the extended circle poured gasoline on the fire. Former associates liked cryptic posts. Old friends unfollowed quietly. Others posted vague messages about truth coming out eventually. Fans noticed who stayed silent, and who didn't deny anything at all. What's chilling is Tamar's alleged claim that she tried to distance herself before things exploded publicly. She reportedly attempted boundaries, therapy, and limited contact. But every attempt to step back was framed as betrayal. According to Tamar, the family didn't just want unity, they wanted control over how unity looked to the public. By the time Tamar finally spoke openly, insiders say the damage was already done. Relationships were fractured beyond repair. Trust was gone. And the internet was ready to pick sides. Some fans accused Tamar of going too far. Others said she didn't go far enough. But one thing was clear, this wasn't a simple family feud anymore. As the night went on and clips continued to surface, one leaked message allegedly summed it all up. If she tells everything, it won't just hurt feelings. It'll change how people see us forever. And just when fans thought they had heard the worst of it, Tamar allegedly hinted that what she shared so far was only the surface, that there were recordings, receipts, and conversations still unreleased. Because according to her, the most explosive part of this story wasn't what happened, it was who knew, who allowed it, and who worked overtime to make sure it stayed buried. And that's where things take a turn no one saw coming. The fallout didn't slow down, it detonated. According to insiders, once Tamar's claims started circulating, panic set in behind the scenes. Group chats went silent. Phones stopped getting answered. And then, suddenly, screenshots began appearing from anonymous accounts claiming to be close to the family. Messages that looked harmless at first glance, but when read between the lines, told a much darker story. One alleged leaked message claims Tamar wasn't the first to question what was happening, she was just the first to refuse to stay quiet. Insiders say there were long-standing tensions surrounding how decisions were made, especially when it came to who was protected and who was expected to sacrifice for the family. Tamar allegedly says that certain boundaries were repeatedly dismissed in the name of keeping peace, even when that peace came at someone else's expense. What sent fans into a frenzy was Tamar's alleged claim that every time she pushed for clarity, she was gaslit into thinking she was imagining things. You're too sensitive. You're reading into it. You always make things bigger than they are. According to sources, those phrases were used so often they became weapons. Over time, Tamar says she began doubting her own instincts, and that's exactly how the system stayed intact. As the allegations spread, old footage started trending again. Fans noticed moments where Tamar looked visibly distressed while others laughed things off. Scenes where her concerns were minimized. Conversations that ended abruptly when she got too close to something uncomfortable. Social media began connecting dots that had been ignored for years, and the comment sections turned into war zones. Meanwhile, insiders claim Towanda was spiraling privately. Not publicly posting, Tamar, according to insiders, wasn't celebrating the attention. Sources say she was emotionally wrecked, oscillating between relief and fear. Relief that she wasn't holding everything in anymore. Fear of the backlash she knew was inevitable. She allegedly told someone close to her, "I knew they'd come for me. I just didn't think it would be this fast." And they did come for her. Subtle posts. Vague denials. Carefully worded statements that never addressed specifics, but painted Tamar as unstable, dramatic, or hurting. Fans immediately noticed the pattern. The same narrative that had followed her for years was being deployed again, and this time, people weren't buying it. As debates raged online, a new theory began circulating. That Tamar's role in the family had always been to absorb the chaos, so everyone else could maintain their image. The problem child. The distraction. The lightning rod. And if that was true, then exposing the truth meant destroying the very system that depended on her silence. The tension reached a breaking point when Tamar allegedly hinted, late one night, that there were still pieces of the story she hadn't shared, not because she didn't want to, but because revealing them would implicate more people than just her immediate family. That single comment sent shockwaves through social media. Fans began asking a terrifying question: if Tamar is telling the truth, then how many people knew, and chose to look away? And just as the internet braced for the next reveal, one anonymous insider dropped a line that changed everything. The reason this stayed hidden so long isn't love. It's fear. And that's when the narrative shifted from messy family drama to something far more unsettling, because fear doesn't exist without power, and power always leaves fingerprints. And according to Tamar, those fingerprints were everywhere. By the time the final wave of claims surfaced, the story had completely outgrown the people at the center of it. According to insiders, what started as Tamar finally speaking her truth had turned into a full-blown reckoning of power, silence, and survival inside one of television's most famous families. And the most unsettling part. Tamar allegedly says this was always going to happen. It was never a matter of if, only when. Sources claim Tamar began connecting the dots publicly in ways she never had before. Not just pointing fingers, but explaining systems, patterns, cycles. She allegedly said the family wasn't held together by love. It was held together by fear of what would happen if anyone disrupted the structure. And once that structure cracked, everyone scrambled to protect themselves. Insiders allege Evelyn's response behind closed doors was explosive. Not remorseful. Not reflective. Defensive. According to whispered accounts, Tamar was accused of betrayal, of rewriting history, of embarrassing the family. But Tamar allegedly fired back with one line that sent chills through people who heard it: "You can't embarrass the truth. It embarrasses itself." That quote spread like wildfire. Fans treated it like a rallying cry. Comment sections flooded with people sharing their own stories of being silenced by family members for the greater good. Suddenly, this wasn't just about the Braxtons, it was about generational control, emotional manipulation, and the cost of staying quiet. Then came the alleged turning point. An insider claimed Tamar privately confirmed that what she had shared so far was deliberately restrained. That there were details she refused to say out loud, not to protect anyone else, but to protect herself from reliving it all again. According to this source, Tamar allegedly said, "People think I'm being dramatic. They have no idea how much I'm holding back." Towanda's name kept resurfacing, and fans couldn't ignore it anymore. Insiders insist Tamar wasn't trying to destroy her sister, she was trying to explain her. To show how someone can appear complicit while actually being trapped by expectation, obligation, and fear of fallout. Tamar allegedly said Towanda didn't need to be exposed, she needed to be understood. But understanding, in this family, came at a cost. As pressure mounted, Subtle shifts happened online. Old posts were deleted. Comments were limited. Public appearances were cancelled or quietly rescheduled. Fans noticed that nobody issued a direct denial of Tamar's core claims, only emotional counter-narratives about pain, hurt, and family matters staying private. To many, that silence spoke louder than any statement ever could. Then came the moment that sent shockwaves through the fan base. A respected entertainment insider hinted that legal conversations were happening behind the scenes, not to sue Tamar, but to contain what might come next. That single suggestion ignited panic. If nothing was true, fans asked, why the urgency? Why the containment? According to those close to Tamar, this phase took a heavy toll on her. She allegedly broke down more than once, overwhelmed by guilt, grief, and exhaustion. Not guilt for speaking, but guilt for surviving. For being the one who finally said what others couldn't. She allegedly questioned whether telling the truth was worth losing what little family connection she had left. But then something shifted. Insiders say Tamar reached a point of calm that scared everyone else more than her anger ever did. She allegedly stopped reacting. Stopped responding. Stopped explaining herself. And when someone close asked her why, her response was chilling, I already said enough. Now people are seeing it on their own. That's when the narrative truly escaped everyone's control. Fans began re-watching everything with new eyes. Old arguments felt darker. Jokes felt crueler. Moments once framed as entertainment now looked like survival mechanisms. The Braxton family story was being rewritten in real time, not by Tamar alone, but by millions of viewers connecting dots they couldn't unsee. The most haunting claim Tamar allegedly made came last, and it barely made noise at first. She reportedly said the real damage wasn't what happened back then, it was what continued to happen when nobody healed. When silence became tradition. When dysfunction became identity. When telling the truth became the ultimate betrayal. And just as the conversation reached its peak, Tamar allegedly dropped one final hint during a private exchange that leaked hours later, that there was one conversation, one moment, that, if ever released, would permanently change how the public understands everything. No details. No names. Just that. The internet froze. Because if what she's already shared has shaken the foundation this badly, whatever she's still holding on to might not just expose the past. It might finally explain it. And the scariest part. According to Tamar, she hasn't decided yet whether the world deserves to hear it. If you've made it this far, understand this, you're not just watching a story unfold. You're witnessing something that was never meant to be seen, something that people worked overtime to keep buried. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The silence is breaking whether anyone is ready or not. This is bigger than gossip. Bigger than sides. Bigger than one family. This is about what happens when truth finally slips through the cracks, and what it costs the person brave enough to let it out. Right now, the internet is deciding how this story will be remembered. Whether it gets dismissed, distorted, or finally taken seriously. And that's where you come in. If you don't engage, this conversation gets buried under noise. If you don't speak, the same old narratives win. But if you hit like, if you drop your thoughts in the comments, if you subscribe and stay locked in, you're helping keep the spotlight where it belongs. Because stories like this don't disappear on their own. They get erased when people stop paying attention. So ask yourself, how many times have we watched someone be labeled too much, dramatic, or the problem, only to find out later they were telling the truth the whole time? How many warnings did we ignore because they made us uncomfortable? The next reveal could drop at any moment. A clip. A message. A confirmation nobody was prepared for. And when it does, you'll want to be here, not catching up late, not hearing